Disability assessment, performing GCS, pupil size, limb movement, and standard observations. When measuring the patient's eye reaction, just like if you were assessing the patient's consciousness as part of your NEWS 2 disability assessment, first ask if they are wearing contact lenses and also if they have ever had eye surgery.
Right. Now I will go on with my exam, and I would like to do a quick eye assessment with you, if that's okay?
Yes, it's fine.
Before I do so, can I just confirm with you if you have any contact lenses or had any eye surgery?
No.
Okay, so what I want you to do is that you look straight into my nose while I shine this torch from outer eye to inner eye. Is that okay?
Okay.
So we'll start with your right one first. Okay. I can see that both pupils are equally reactive to light. The size of both pupils is 3.
Record the pupil size with a numbered score that relates to the pupil size on the left-hand side of the GCS table. So, for example, if a patient's pupil was 3 mm across, you would put a 3 in the size box. If the patient's pupil reacts normally by constricting and dilating, you should mark a plus sign in the reaction box. If there is no reaction, mark a negative sign in the reaction box. If the eye was closed and you had to reopen it, mark C in the reaction box. If the patient is unable to keep their eyes open, you should hold the eyelids open and note the size, shape, and equality of the pupils, unless they have an injury in the area. If the patient is suffering from ptosis, then you would expect to see an enlarged, unreactive pupil.
For the next part of the assessment, I will quickly check your limb movements, if that's okay. Before I begin, can I just confirm with you that you have had no surgery on your back, shoulder, and arm?
No.
So that is totally fine, okay? So can you please raise both of your arms and try to squeeze my fingers? Thank you for that. Just keep them up now. So what I will do is I will try to apply some pressure, and I want you to resist the pressure I'm applying, okay? All right, thank you for that. Both arms have actual normal power, so that's fine. I will just note it down. And now we would want to do the same thing for your legs, if that's okay.
Okay.
So can I just
Yeah.
unfold this, and can you just raise your leg for me, and I will apply some pressure and try to resist. Okay, perfect. And now with the other leg. And all good. So both of your legs also have normal power, so I will write it down.
You now need to record these observations on the GCS. Record arms first, then legs. If the patient has normal power on both sides, you'd put a dot next to normal power. However, if there was a difference between the left side and the right side, you would put an L in the box that reflects the power of the left side and an R in the box that reflects the power of the right. So, if, for example, the patient's arms both had normal power and the left leg had normal power but the right leg had a mild weakness, you'd record it like this. Don't forget that there are some standard observations that you also need to complete as part of the GCS, including blood pressure, pulse rate, respirations, temperature, and oxygen saturation. These observations are performed in the usual way, as shown in previous videos. However, it's important that you know where to record them. Blood pressure should always be drawn with an arrow connecting a line between the systolic and the diastolic pressure. So, for example, with a patient with a BP of 87/62, it would be recorded like this. Temperature would be recorded by finding the temperature degrees Celsius on the right-hand side of the page and marking a dot on the chart accordingly. Respirations are marked by doing the same at the lower end of the chart. So, for example, respirations of 20 respirations per minute would be marked like this. Pulse is also recorded with a dot on the left-hand side of the chart. So, for example, a pulse rate of 83 would be shown like this. Oxygen saturations are written as a percentage at the very bottom of the chart. You should treat these basic observations in the same way you would treat them on the news chart, and escalate or monitor the patient's care in the same way as you would for the News 2 thresholds.